Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Fan Behavior. I am Zoe, back with Hannah.
Hi.
We're back from Miami. I have a cold or something going on, so apologies if I sound a little nasally, congested. I don't know if it's, there is a lot of pollen floating around, but I'm not someone that's typically, I don't always have a hard time with allergies, so I don't know if it's a post-Miami situation, if it is just an allergy situation, but apologies. I know it's annoying to listen to podcasts.
It's fine. This was me a couple weeks ago.
When people are stuffed to the gods, like I am. First thing, happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
To any mothers out there, if you are a mother, hope you're having, I know that when this comes out, it will be the day after Mother's Day, but hope you had a great day.
And shout out to you, because
shout out to you.
Momming is wild.
Yeah. Shout out to our moms who don't listen to this podcast.
True, but they're very cool. We like them a whole bunch.
They're great. Actually, I was joking with my mom last night. I was like, aren't you so happy that we didn't have to, spend a Mother's Day watching a Formula One race? And she was like, no, I would have loved that.
She's such
Also,
a doll.
do you know her 3 favorite F1 drivers at the current moment in time?
I could wager a guess, but I don't know if they'll be right. Lando?
He is one of them.
Is Oscar one of them?
He is not.
Okay, hold on. Let me get into her mind. So we've got Lando. Yuki?
No.
Oh, yeah, right.
No.
Lewis?
No.
Really?
No, really. She does love Lewis. She does, but
okay,
he's not one of her.
I'm out.
So it's Charles Leclerc,
Okay.
Lando, and Kimi Antonelli.
Oh, of course.
My parents watched The Seat, and I knew she would love him immediately.
Course,
and she thinks he's so cute.
He's so cute.
Those are her favorites at the moment. No. Yeah, she's actually, I don't want to say she's anti-Oscar, but she's not into Oscar. My dad and my mom have very different tastes.
Yeah, well, and I can understand from her perspective why she prefers Lando over Oscar.
I can as well. I can as well. So anyway,
well, good. I'm glad they watched The Seat. I knew she would love Kimi.
Yeah, who doesn't?
No, that's so true.
What a great guy. And then also, as well as being Mother's Day today, it is also Yuki Tsunoda's birthday.
I missed that.
So shout out to the king, Yuki Tsunoda.
Also, if you haven't seen maybe any of this, but Emily Ratajkowski had a Yuki Tsunoda t-shirt.
We talked about this on the podcast. Not the video of him, but we talked about the shirt.
Okay, great. Yeah. So go back to that. But the Red Flags put out this reel of interviewing Yuki about finding out that Rata was wearing his t-shirt, and it's stunning.
Hilarious.
It's perfect. And
he didn't know who she was, which is so funny.
And it's just so Yuki.
I know.
Yeah. And he was like, wow, she's pretty.
Yeah. Who's Rata? And then he felt like he was king.
Because he is. And so I hope he's having a great birthday. And I hope Jason Statham sent him a cameo or something.
He needs to wear a shirt of Emily wearing the shirt.
Oh, that's
you know
a
what
good
I mean?
idea. Yeah.
He needs to wear something like that.
Yeah, the Red Flag should put that together.
Yeah.
And
send it to him.
Yeah. And then we can all wear the one of him.
Yeah.
The picture of him wearing the shirt.
It's very Inception vibes.
Yeah.
So
and then we'll just stop it there.
I hope you have a great birthday, Yuki. And you're 25 now. So he's,
wow.
Full on adult. Over the hill.
Well, at this stage, his frontal lobe is supposed to be fully developed. Right?
Well, I think the jury's still out as to whether that's for women or for men. I feel like men are a little older. I don't know if that's true.
All right. Well, he's getting closer.
He's getting it's getting better every day. Okay, so this episode we're going to go over lots of news things happened over the course of the week. So we're going to get into all of that. Starting off with the Met Gala.
Yes.
Last Monday.
Stunning.
I know I'm extremely biased.
Yeah, of course.
But Lewis I thought he was
flawless.
One of the best dressed of the evening.
Well, and he should have been.
So perfect.
Yeah, it was just very him.
Every way. He was styled by Grace Wales Bonner. She's the designer of the outfit. And it was fantastic. If you go on his Instagram page, he talks a lot about the experience and all that. And then he included like a slide where he, I think, showed a lot of the inspiration for the outfit, which I thought was really interesting. I'm always interested in that part of it when it comes to the Met Gala, like why people.
Yeah, like behind the scenes.
When you see photos or when you see the videos of the people on the red carpet, you don't know, okay, why did they wear that? Or like, what is the inspiration behind it? Or who are they channeling? Like, they almost need like a little fun fact bubble when they're showing all the like different outfits. Yeah, so you can kind of know, okay, what's the inspo here? Yeah. So he shared that if you're interested. But it was just so great. And also Coleman Domingo, who was the other co-chair. LeBron James also was supposed to be a co-chair and he got injured and so he couldn't go. which is unfortunate for him. I thought he looked fantastic too.
He did.
His cape
He's
reveal.
cool. His whole vibe is
I love him.
Yeah, he's great.
So that was fun. And then, so just shout out to Lewis. Loved the look. This is non-F1 related, but I also loved Zendaya.
She's
also, did you
so
see
stunning.
that her outfit was so similar to this other woman? She's an actress in Shogun. I think her name's Anna Sawai, but they both had, I think they were channeling two different things, but it was the same like white tailored suit hat. But it looked so
I was so into
good.
the amount of, I love it, like pant. And there were just so many suits. I just loved it so much.
It looked really, really good. We also have to talk about the Damson Idris F1 movie promo.
Yeah.
What did you think of it?
Well, I just think that this movie continues to get more and more dramatic. I thought two things. One, it's perfect in the sense that like Lewis is co-chairing this event. And he's a producer on the movie. So it makes sense to do it. I think, was it a little extra? Of course it was. But so is everything about Formula One. So is everything about this movie. Their marketing budget, like the limit does not exist. And I think it was a way to get the conversation started for people who probably still don't even know really what it is.
Yes. I'm surprised that Anna Wintour allowed movie promo at the Met Gala. Mm-hmm. That to me, that seems a little weird. Now, maybe it was, because Lewis is producing the movie and he's co-chairing this event, it was okayed.
Yeah.
But it does seem a little bit cheesy is not the right word, but it like
jumping the shark a little.
Yeah, I just don't see her wanting to be. I don't see her wanting the event to be used for movie promotion.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I also just think like at this stage, the event, I mean, I recognize it's like a fundraiser for the costume exhibit, but like it's just promotion for everybody. That's like the whole kind of point. But I totally get where you're coming from. I think it was totally extra. I am surprised that she okayed it, but I thought it was fun.
His outfit was fantastic.
Amazing.
It was so good. Tommy Hilfiger, which is I guess a sponsor of his fictional Formula One team.
Yeah.
He drove in the car to the
which
event.
Was great.
I do wonder. I would love to know.
It wasn't it's not a Formula One car though. But it's so important for the news media to understand.
They don't give a.
Well, but they should.
I know they don't understand.
Fact find. Yeah, fact checks are important. It is not a Formula One car.
No, but also I would love to know from someone who has no idea about Formula One, did this make an impact? For us in this world, of course we see it. But I actually have no idea if it actually did permeate.
Yeah, I mean, I think it
culture.
caused enough conversation, but I like people were like, "What's this guy doing? What's the helmet about?"
Right.
Who knows? Can we talk about Anne Hathaway as well?
Oh well, yeah, that's my next on the list. So Anne Hathaway was talking to Al Roker of the Today Show, as you do.
Wonderful.
And I think he asked her like, who are you most excited to see? And she was like, Lewis Hamilton. She was like freaking out about it. And at this point, I mean, we knew she was an F1 fan. Yes. Obviously, we really found out a couple years ago at the Met Gala when she met Daniel Ricciardo. Mm-hmm. And that just was such an iconic moment.
Of course.
And then for those who don't remember, last year at the Monaco GP, Nicholas Galitzine, who is her co-star in The Idea of You, which came out around that time, he was the one to give out the pole position award.
Yes, I remember.
And he gave it to Charles Leclerc.
Yeah, wasn't he wearing Birkenstocks when he did it?
I think he was.
Someone should have talked to him about that, but alas.
I think he was. And he could be seen mouthing to Charles Leclerc something to the effect of, Anne Hathaway wanted me to say hi, or she's a big fan, something to that effect. So everyone's like, oh my gosh, okay, Anne Hathaway, now we know.
Like, why isn't this woman getting to a race?
I know,
she
so
can't be
weird.
that busy.
It is weird.
And it's a global event. Like, you can find one in your schedule.
I know, it is interesting that she hasn't made, or maybe she has been to a race and we just don't.
Yeah, she was like low key about it.
But and then of course this Met Gala, her freaking out over Lewis, which is so relatable.
Absolutely.
And she is me and I am her.
Yeah,
like,
which is funny. Like what a
trio.
Yeah, truly. And she's just. There was something else I was gonna say, but now I don't recall. And she's great.
We just need her on the podcast.
We really do.
I really am curious. I also think about this with celebrities who are F1 fans or fans of things that they're not always asked about. Like if they're super passionate about, the Premier League or some like the NFL, I don't know. And they go on these promos for their movies or shows. They don't get to like geek out about those things because they're asked about their movie or their show. But I wonder, like, I kind of think she would want to have a place to like chat about her love of Formula One.
Yeah.
And I'm just curious, like, who does she support for the title?
Totally.
What are her thoughts on the principals? You know, there's just
Does she also want Cyril to come back?
Right, exactly. You know. There's just a lot of questions I have for her. And first of all, I mean, Ferrari needs to get on the phone and they need to bring her out to a race, or she needs to, because it does seem like that's the team for her.
Yeah. It would be fun if they worked in for Princess Diaries 3 a Monaco GP.
100%. 100%.
Wow.
Yes.
I know we're doing too much with them in the media, but it's just for the
Monaco?
Just Formula One being in movies and
and
all that. But, you know, Charles wants to be an actor. I think it makes sense that the Queen of Genovia would go to the Monaco GP.
Do you even know where Genovia is supposed to be?
I have always pretended it's like Switzerland adjacent. Oh. Because I think
it's kind of the Monaco of...
I just hear like Geneva in my head. Is Geneva in Switzerland?
Yes.
That's so good for me. Okay. So yeah, that's kind of...
interesting.
My hope.
Yeah, for sure. I could see that. I could totally see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be fun. Maybe someone will actually do that. Anyway, love seeing Anne Hathaway geek out.
We've come really full circle with her.
We have, and you know, I need to know all the F1 drivers' favorite Anne Hathaway movies.
Yes, I did also remember what I was going to say. It has to do with the Met. What do we think the relationship between Lewis and Nicole Scherzinger is these days?
You know, apparently he liked her Instagram post.
Nice. Well, he does seem like someone who's friends with his exes and also had a lot of control with guest lists. So
yes,
he didn't say she couldn't be there.
It was such a long time ago.
But man, to be a fly on the wall.
And Shakira was also there, who he's had, and then Nicki Minaj, who he has apparently also been rumored to have.
I'm not familiar with that rumor. Wow,
they were all at the Met Gala, so. Good time to be Lewis Hamilton.
I was a little sad that there wasn't another Formula One driver, but alas.
I think, you know, and I've been seeing people say, like, it was probably for the best that they give, especially given the theme
Lewis
and everything.
I totally get that.
Lewis's time to shine, and maybe in future years we'll see more people. I do think we're heading in that direction where we will get more F1 drivers at the Met Gala in future years. So, okay. Next big piece of news is that Alpine Team Principal Oliver Oakes has resigned from his position. Mm-hmm. Flavio Briatore has taken over as the team principal. Now, I do just want to say before we get into all of it that there was a report that came out about Oliver Oakes' brother, William Oakes, who was arrested in the UK for transferring criminal property, and he had large amounts of cash in his possession. Oliver apparently flew to Dubai following the Miami GP. There's a lot of reporting going on, I shouldn't even say a lot. There is a report out about maybe what's going on with the Oakes family. I don't feel like it's in our best interest to be discussing that on this podcast, given it's
I also don't have
legal situations. Oliver Oakes has not been, charged with any crime. It's his brother, so I don't want to speculate on any of that. If you are interested in reading about it, Google Oliver Oakes. You can find it. You can find the article and learn more about what's going on with his family and that whole situation. There was a lot of speculation when he did resign that people felt like it was because he was unhappy with the decision to replace Jack Doohan, blah, blah, blah. I don't think any of that is true. I personally believe it is he resigned for a personal matter.
Yeah, well, I think that's the only thing relevant about this whole report is that, like, I thought it was maybe a quote unquote resigned, but he was maybe told, like, hey, you need to get out of here. But now I think he chose to step down because of all the drama.
Because of his family situation. I completely agree. And also, like...
Which, like, brothers, you know?
Yeah. This, the decision to replace... And we'll get into the decision to replace Jack with Franco, but... That has been something that's been talked about and happening for... It's like, it wasn't like it was sprung immediately and then Oliver was like, wait, what are you doing? He's known about this for a long time. So if he had any major issues with that, it would have happened a long time ago. Yeah. I don't think that was... I really do believe that there's other stuff going on in his life and that's why he chose to step down. I do want to focus on the Flavio Briatore of it all.
Yes, of course.
Because, so this is now, Flavio now, and it's unclear as to whether or not he's like interim team principal or if he's taking it on full, like,
it seems
for the
like
extent of time.
It's been like current, like, it sounds like they've made it sound interim, but I can imagine interim turning permanent quickly.
It's totally possible. this is now 6 team principals in the last 5 years for Alpine, which is, I mean, just
bonkers,
incredibly ridiculous.
Well, I just feel for the team too, because that much turnover and leadership is crazy.
Insanity, honestly. And then the Flavio of it all. I mean, this guy was banned for Crashgate. And we talked about this before, but, you know, telling Nelson Piquet Jr. to crash to then help Fernando Alonso. Whole long thing happened years ago and, you know, was banned. Like, was banned. And then that ruling was overturned.
Classic.
I mean, it was, but it's sort of like, okay, you know, he is, I guess, very good attorneys. And then it's just like, okay, well, now you're back.
Go
now
ahead.
you're back as team principal
Yeah,
again.
that's the thing I think for me. It's like, okay, coming in an
as like an
advisory
advisor,
capacity or whatever, but like to have the whole thing be overturned and then to just be at the top of a team, it's wild.
Ridiculous.
But this is just how the world of people like this, it's just how the world works for them.
And you can, you know, something happens, people are outraged, and then enough time passes, or people believe enough time has passed, and then who cares? Okay, yeah, you're back. It's like, what?
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of proves that Formula One, I mean, we've kind of already known this.
Big LOL.
Well, and there's just like, where's your backbone?
Right.
Where is your we don't condone X behavior?
And sure, like if it was, you know, however they did it legally, if it was like they proved their case and it was overturned, fine. Like he shouldn't be, you know, it shouldn't be held over his head forever. I mean, he was essentially, he was found guilty and then he was found not guilty. Fine. So your penance or penalty has been overturned. Fine. Okay. But now, like, be cool about it. Like, hang out for a minute.
Yeah. It's very strange. I mean, it's pretty crazy, honestly. And I don't know. We'll have to see how this affects Alpine going forward. And
I also didn't realize this. And I probably should have. I didn't realize he is Jack's manager.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah. Very strange. Very strange.
Jack needs to invest his money elsewhere. You know, this is just where I go like, okay, well, what do we, obviously there's so much we don't know, but I'm just like, what do we not know? Why are you, I guess it's just a money. I mean, at the end of the day, it's all just a money business thing, but damn.
All about that cash. So yeah, I'll be very curious to see how this affects Alpine going forward. I'll be very curious to see how Flavio does as team principal. I mean, we know that next year Alpine's getting the Mercedes engines. I think the Mercedes engines look to be the best engines for 2026 as of right now. So maybe Alpine will find themselves, I mean, they're doing fine.
Yeah.
Like Pierre is doing well and he's qualifying well. And
that's why I wish we got to at least hold off on the switch until summer break so that Jack could be on tracks where he's like comfortable, you know.
Yeah, we can get to that. So after the Oliver Oaks news was announced this week, then we found out that, and it was pretty much, it was thrown out there following the Miami GP. And once you know, those first few reports start coming out, you kind of think, okay, this is probably happening. It was officially confirmed that Franco will be replacing Jack. Now, it did say in the announcement for 5 races,
right?
Which is weird to me.
Agreed.
I don't know if it's because they don't trust Franco, and so they kind of want to be like, well, it's just for 5 races. We're just going to evaluate him. But also, even if you thought that in your mind, I don't know that you would put it in the announcement.
Yeah.
Is kind of weird. I've also seen some people speculate because, you know, Franco comes with a lot of financial backing, sponsorship money. People are wondering, well, is it because they want to ensure that the money actually comes, or that they, you know, that all actually ends up happening? Okay, I guess kind of. That still seems kind of weird to me. Or is it because they just don't have faith? Like,
yeah, I think what's weird
know.
is, to me, it's like it would have made more sense to say a minimum of 5 like to say.
Yeah, maybe
they're being transparent about the fact that this is a test, like a trial run also.
Yeah.
But I think it's weird to say, so is it like, okay, he only gets 5 and then Jack gets the seat back automatically regardless of how he does?
I didn't read it like that.
I didn't either, but that's how it kind of comes across.
It was weird. Yeah, so, you know, there's just so many things to discuss about this because on the one hand, a lot of people, you know, there's been, is this fair on Jack Doohan?
No.
And I think, again, at least from my perspective, you know, many things can be true at once. Is it fair? Fair is such a
loose
word,
subjective.
weird word. Yeah. that he gets replaced as a rookie after 6 races? No. I mean, it's very tough. But also, did Jack perform super well?
No.
Also, no.
Right.
Also, I don't think, and we've kind of all known this, I don't think Alpine wanted to sign Jack Doohan in the first place. I think when the decision to sign him happened, Alpine was in a really difficult, but like they didn't have a lot of options. They knew they had to replace Esteban. I think some people have speculated that, you know, Esteban was going to go to Haas, and Alpine wanted to kind of show that they had somebody, that they were proactive in finding his replacement, and it wasn't like Esteban was putting them in a bad position. It was kind of like, okay, yeah, it's a mutual decision, sort of, you know. Franco, I don't think when they announced it or made the decision, either Franco had just gotten into the Williams or was just about to.
Yeah, it wasn't known his availability.
Yeah. Carlos Sainz obviously turned them down. You know, there was all these other things that were going on. I also think Alpine felt like we need to show that we will promote an Alpine Academy driver, because we know what happened with Oscar Piastri.
Mm-hmm.
They fumbled that. Also, thank God Oscar Piastri is not in that Alpine. I mean, I know it came. We had to sacrifice Danny Rick in order for Oscar to be at McLaren, but honestly,
Chinese farmer,
it was worth it.
Yeah.
And so I think they felt like we need to show young drivers who we might be wanting to sign for our academy program that there is a pathway free to Formula One, because look, we promoted Jack Doohan. Because if you're a young academy driver and you have all these options, you know, Red Bull potentially, Merc, Alpine, why would you go with Alpine when there's been repeated instances of like them
just picking someone else.
Yeah, or fumbling the bag or going somewhere else or not promoting their academy drivers. And you're seeing a Kimi Antonelli, Isaac Hadjar, Liam Lawson getting into these other teams through the academy. It's like, well, they have a better track record.
Right.
So I think they felt like we need to actually show we do this. But
also, if I'm an academy driver on the Alpine side, I'm like, okay, so you might promote me, but then you're just going to switch me around at any, you know, and that's tough too.
Yeah. But then there's also people saying, why would Jack ever sign this contract? Why would you ever sign a contract when you only have 6 races? Yeah. I mean, Jack had 0 leverage. All the power was in Alpine's hands.
So it's basically like, here's your dream.
Yes.
It comes with strings.
Or
want
no dream.
it or no dream. It's like, of course you're going to sign the contract.
Because unfortunately for Jack's position, it's not like an Oscar situation where Oscar had a lot of other people who would have wanted to sign him, or even Liam Lawson, who I think with the when the whole Red Bull switch happened last year, other teams were interested in Liam Lawson, and so he had a little bit of leverage to get himself into that seat in, you know, halfway through the season or whatever. Jack had 0 leverage. Nobody else wanted to sign him.
Yeah.
And so it was basically, here's this offer. There are these things you're going to have to, you know, there's a risk you could lose your seat. But in his mind, he's thinking, okay, well, I'm going to take it and I'm going to prove to them that I'm worthy of being here. Now, he didn't do that, but of course you're going to take that. Like, I don't fault him. And I also don't fault Alpine for having that in their contract too, because you do have to have protections. Yes, exactly. So it sucks for Jack. He's still going to stick around as the reserve driver. Which is awkward. But also it's like, fine. And again, for someone like Jack, there's just no other... It's Alpine or it's some other series. Like, there's no other way for him to get back into, I believe.
I don't
No
disagree.
other team signing him. It's just not going to happen anywhere else. So this is it for him. Now the question obviously is, will Franco perform better than Jack?
It's hard to say, really.
It's hard to say.
I wouldn't be surprised. Not that he wouldn't be better in maybe some races and stuff, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're kind of on par given the machinery they have.
Well, and also I think the thing that Franco, because people brought up a lot how Franco had a number of crashes, like the back half of his season last year. He crashed in Vegas. He had that big crash in Brazil. And, you know, he was a little, he was costing them some money. But he did show he had great speed. Like, he did prove his speed. And I don't think Jack ever showed that part of his ability. Like, he crashed, but there wasn't like, oh, but then he also... But at least he's
doing this
fast. Yeah. Franco has shown he's quick, but he also has shown that he does crash a lot. So he will need to obviously not crash as much as he did last year. And just kind of, I think as long as he shows that he can maybe get a couple points here and there, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how that shakes out. Again, you know, he does have the sponsorship backing.
And we love Franco. I mean, he's a gem. I think that's the other thing that's so hard. Like, part of me just wishes I hated one of these guys because it would make it so much easier. But I like them both. And, you know, the three of them will probably do social content together now.
He's great. He's so funny. I mean, he's a very fun personality. Yeah. I'm happy that, you know, the South American fans have a driver. Well, I guess they also have Gabby too. Yeah. Gabby's Brazilian. But, you know, that's awesome. But it is hard that it's just always hard to see someone get replaced mid-season.
They're just kids, man.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's a tough go around. So but it'll be fun to see him back on the track, to have him around. I think him and Pierre will be really funny together.
I think so too.
And I think it will be a great,
and he'll look great in pink.
He will. So best of luck to Franco. Best of luck to Jack.
I'm just so curious to see who's going to be in the final, like, class of 25 photo, you know?
Yeah. Could be lots of changes. Hopefully everyone just stays put. I also just wanted to quickly shout out did you see all the content that came out from the Lego parade?
Truly, it's perfect. Like, it was just so sweet to see them. Like, I laughed every video I saw. The Lewis TikTok, which I know we've already talked about, but like, I've never heard Lewis cackle like that. Like, that was the most genuine I have felt. I'm like, oh yeah, you're just a boy.
Yeah. Yeah. They if you haven't seen it, the F1 YouTube channel shared the video of all the GoPros. Like, they compiled all of those videos, which was very funny. And they're just cackling the whole time, every single one of them. Like, not one of them had a bad experience.
Yeah. Well, and it was just fun. I feel like I saw this after we did our podcast in Miami, but it was just funny. Like, in one of the pre-race interviews after the drivers' parade, Max was very panicked about the amount of Legos left on track, which is fair. So shout out to the marshals.
Shout out to the marshals.
Who were cleaning up tiny Lego bits.
It was just, once again, picture perfect marketing from Lego.
It was really, truly phenomenal. Like, I will never be able to get over how perfect that was. And just a surprise too, like, it was one thing just to see the fact that they had built each version of the car, and then that they moved. It was so unexpected.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay. Next piece of news we have is that it was reported this week that Carlos Sainz Sr. is interested potentially in running for FIA president.
Yes.
Now, I mean,
I didn't know there were elections for this either.
Yeah.
Like, do you think he's going to have buttons?
Well, another person that has been floated around its potential is Susie Wolff. Both people who have, you know,
conflict of interest.
But because a lot of people, when I shared that to our Instagram story, people were like, isn't this conflict of interest? Formula One is an entire conflict of interest. I mean, you have
part of the fun.
Lawrence Stroll owning a team that his son drives for, Red Bull having a junior team. I mean, there's just lots of stuff going on here. So I think maybe it's a personal bias because I like these two people, but I trust both Carlos Sainz Sr. and Susie Wolff to be as, you know, unbiased and diplomatic as possible. I also feel like the goal of FIA president is you kind of help govern the body and the sport, and you put the right people in place to make decisions that will then impact either her husband's team or his son's team. Like, he or she is not making the specific decision that then
only benefits one.
Yeah, like the goal, I think, is you put other people in place and you create a sport that is, you know, fair and balanced and all those things, and then you kind of allow other people to make the actual decision making in terms of, like, I mean, Carlos Sainz Sr. as FIA president hopefully is not going to be the one that says, yes, that's a 10-second penalty for, you know, whoever for pushing my son off the track. Like, he's not making those kinds of calls.
Right.
And again, I think I don't know either of them personally, but they both just seem like they are very they follow the rules. That's the sense I get from both of them.
Yes.
But it is interesting. It would be really interesting. Who would you prefer, Susie Wolff or Carlos Sainz Sr.?
I think, honestly, I'd be happy to see either one of them. I think for me, Susie feels different in the sense that, yes, her husband is the team principal and of a team, but it's not her child. You know what I mean? Like, I think there's a different emotional thing there. And I think just with everything she's doing for F1 Academy and for the sport, she just feels like it's her goal to make the sport better for men and women in just all capacities. And I think people say it as a joke all the time, but I think we all just know that there's a woman leads much differently than a man. And I think
for better.
Yes, typically for better. Not always, I will say. It's not always, but typically, yes. And I do think, like, why not? She's brilliant. She's smart. She's very business oriented. She's very dialed in. I think that's the other piece is, like, her business sense. We talked about this off the pod, but, like, she just seems to have a lot more. She just gives off executive more than Carlos Sainz Sr., which is fine. He doesn't need to be an executive. But I think it would be really great to see a woman. And forgive me, because I think I know the answer, but I don't want to say it out loud and sound dumb. So can you remind me who the current FIA president is?
Mohammed bin Sulayem.
That's what I thought. And honestly, anyone. Pick anyone.
I agree. I think Susie is so dialed in from, like, and she's had lots of experience in various forms of motorsport. You know, she was a Formula E principal for a while. She obviously works in the Mercedes side of things. She's F1 Academy. Like she and I don't know as much about Carlos Sainz's, like, business pursuits, or sort of, like, I mean, obviously we know he's a driver and has been in motorsport for a very, very, very long time. Mm-hmm. But I feel like Susie, I don't know.
Well, I think she could get both perspectives too, like as being a driver, but also as being a principal and being, you know, in charge of a whole new series. Like, I just think she has a lot of different perspectives. And I do think where it's valuable, like both of them are incredibly valuable, is that they both have a driver's perspective and like understanding what it's like to be a cog in the wheel of the sport. And so what are the term limits?
I don't know.
I didn't even know that it was like an option that we would be replacing that FIA president. I don't know. And can we vote?
I do believe there's like a board, you know, that makes these calls. But anyway,
you're curious we'll have to see how that plays out.
Yeah, how that shakes out. But it is interesting.
It is. Otmar,
geez Louise. Okay, before I have some other just quick things I want to touch on, but I do want to share. So there's obviously been a lot of talk. We talked about this. I don't know if we even talked about it on the podcast. There's been a lot of videos made about the whole 100 men versus one gorilla. And what I've been seeing on TikTok a lot are people taking like 100 people and then like kind of like putting them in different categories. Like, these 5 people are the distractors.
Oh, sure.
These 5 are the strategists. And they'll do it for like different kind of like groups of people. Like, I've seen it for the NFL. They've like done it for that or other sports. So someone did it for Formula One. Okay. Like Formula One people. And I want to just shout out some of it. Obviously, I'm not going to go through all 100 people, but so the person who posted this TikTok, their username is Not a Math Formula. So if you want to see the full thing, go to their page and check out their video. But they have it categorized as bait, strategists, financing, sacrifices, first wave attack, captains, motivators, negotiators, distraction, aura, second wave attack, special assault unit, backup, human shield, music. So I just want to share some of these that are really funny. Some of them are like kind of means, maybe not the right word, but sort of like, I don't know. It's mean, funny, maybe, but it you know. So, okay. So for the strategists, the 5 that they have are Hannah Schmitz, Carlos Sainz Jr., Bono, Adrian Newey, Michael Massey. I'm not going to read the sacrifices, but it is funny. Go and read it. I'm sure you can kind of assume some of the sacrifices, you know. Okay, as the motivators, we have Gunter Steiner, Yuki Tsunoda, Kimi Räikkönen, Papa Perez, and Anthony Hamilton.
Oh, so good. Also, Papa Perez is perfect.
Like, Gunter, Yuki, Kimi, Papa Perez, and Anthony Hamilton are all bringing different energies, but they are motivating the hell out of you.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
they are. They're giving you a hug if you need it.
Yeah, they're kind of
wiping the sweat off your brow.
They're just staring at you very sternly and just saying, you know, do it. Hilarious. Made me laugh very hard. And then there was another one. Okay, here are the negotiators. Okay. George Russell, Roman Grosjean, Andrea Stella, Felipe Massa, Mark Webber, Carlos Dos.
Yeah.
Yes. And Toto Wolff.
Perfect.
Okay. And then the distraction. These are the ones that are supposed to be used to distract the gorilla.
Okay.
Lando Norris.
Yep.
Lando Norris. Daniel Ricciardo, Carlos Sainz, Brosades Edits, Lance Stroll's TikTok persona, Martin Brundle, Fred Vasseur, Valtteri Bottas, Naked, Leo Leclerc.
That's amazing.
Every single one of those.
Wait, I'm nervous that Carlos Sainz he's strategy and distraction.
Well, so Carlos Sainz Jr. was categorized as the strategist. This just says Carlos Sainz. So I don't know if this is senior.
Okay.
I don't know exactly.
Got it.
Exactly. Okay, and then for Aura, they say Charles Leclerc in Miami.
Yeah.
Lewis Hamilton. Oh, sorry, in Monaco, not in Miami. Lewis Hamilton, Ayrton Senna, that one Ferrari mechanic, Nicholas Latifi, Roscoe Hamilton.
That one Ferrari mechanic.
And I think everyone knows the one.
We do.
And I think that was the only ones that I wanted to. I'm just going through to make sure that
that's really funny.
Hilarious.
I love some of the throwbacks too.
Yeah,
nicely done.
Yeah. It was very funny. So go and check that out. I just wanted to give that a shout out because I thought it was funny. Did you also see Lily's Alex's girlfriend, her TikTok with like the for the lady perhaps a salad? And
I
Alex
haven't
is
seen
like, perhaps
no,
not,
I've
but it's like
seen that trend, but I haven't.
It's
seen,
hilarious.
Okay.
Everyone should go see that. I reposted it on our
and also
TikTok.
thank you for clarifying because the number of Lilies now.
Yeah, I mean, baby Lily's not posting a TikTok.
No, I know, but I was thinking also maybe it was Lily Herman did something,
Oscar's girlfriend too is Lily.
Yeah.
Lots of Lilies.
Yep.
Okay. Just very quickly, do you have any predictions for Imola?
No, not even at all. Honestly, like I kind of have blacked out on F1 this week
because we're getting into a triple header now. Hannah won't be here next weekend. We'll have a guest co-host, but we are, this is a very pivotal time. This is like,
it is.
I think where the rubber meets the road, so to speak. I hope so. I think so. I haven't seen anything like as of right now as to what's coming, but this is usually when teams will bring upgrades.
I'd love a Kimi podium.
Would love a Kimi podium. I think my feeling is that Lando's going to win in Imola. True. That's what my gut is telling me right now, but we'll have to wait to see. Obviously, this is just kind of where is Oscar going to start to pull away?
Yeah.
Or are the other contenders going to show up and really bring the fight to him? I don't know. It's very interesting. We've also gotten some messages about our Pato interview.
Oh, yes.
So that happened this past week. It was great. And it will be coming out I believe it's May 21st is when we will be releasing that as a little special bonus episode. It's not super long. It's like a 20-minute interview. So we figured we'll put it out. And also we have 3 races in a row. So, we got to make sure we leave the Monday episode for the race recap. So we'll put it out Wednesday ahead of the Indy 500, which is sort of what we talk about in the interview. But yeah, so for those who are interested, we're curious about when that's coming out. It'll come out a week from Wednesday.
And he's as delightful as you assumed he'd be.
Yeah, what a guy. We love him. And he got second place this weekend.
Oh, great job.
At the road course.
Do you think it's because he talked to us?
I think so, yeah. So if you're a, fan of
I'm rooting for him.
Motorsport,
I'm not just saying that.
You can root for whoever you want, obviously. But I think given last year's Indy 500 ending, I would love to see redemption for.
Did you see that Kristen Juszczyk is
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
I said the name right.
For Joseph Newgarden.
Ashley's. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
cool.
That's very cool. She's
sorry I gave no context to that at all. That's how we talk when we're by ourselves. If you don't know who Kristen Juszczyk is, she is married to Kyle Juszczyk.
Yep.
Nice. Oh, 49ers football player still, who almost wasn't but is again.
Yes.
And she nice. I'm just killing it. She takes like jerseys and things and makes different clothes out of them. So if you saw the Taylor Swift, Brittany Mahomes puffer jackets, she made those. She is making, it looks like she teased a jacket that she's making for Ashley Newgarden for the Indy 500, which is fun. I love that she's crossing over into F1. Or not F1, into motorsport. Yeah. I think she's done it before, but it's just fun.
It is fun. Yeah, she's been making her own clothes for a long time, but that Taylor Swift moment really, of course it did. It really popped off, and now she has her own brand of jackets, like not F1, NFL jackets.
Oh yeah,
me.
Is it through Fanatic? Or
No,
is it
I
on
don't
its
know.
own?
I think it's her own brand. It's called like
They're
Off
very cool.
Season or something like
Oh,
that.
okay.
Or I don't fact check.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is cool. Okay, anything else you want to touch on before we head out?
I don't think so, but I hope everyone has a great week. I'll miss you all next week when I'm gone.
You'll be back for the crown jewel of Formula One.
Sure
The
will.
Monaco GP, which I'm sure will be a super thrilling race.
Qualifying will be good.
Qualifying will be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always tough. Well, and actually, but we are getting the 2 pit stops this year. So that's,
I forgot about that.
So that will be at least something.
Yeah, that will be. I'm really excited to see how Ferrari handles their race this year.
Please.
They got it.
Please.
No clown mass this week or next week or, any of the weeks, but.
Yeah. That it's like, it's great for everybody else. I guess it all depends, right? If Ferrari ends up on, because if they end up on pole, that's when the stress is, because it's like, don't mess this up. But if they're like in P4, P5 for the qualifying, then it's sort of like, oh, okay, let's see like what chaos can happen to ensure that maybe something great happens.
I'm particularly nervous about Monaco between the two boys, like, but the Ferrari guys, like how they're gonna, I know it all depends on where they land, but you have to test the strategy, and I'm just nervous they're gonna pick
the good thing is the monkey's off the back.
Totally.
Charles Leclerc won last year. There's really nothing. I don't feel this like he's got to win again. Like he won, and so it's okay. I mean, no, I don't want to see them like make a mistake. Yeah. But also, if he ends up wherever he ends up, I don't feel as much pressure. Yeah. Of course, who cares what I feel? But I'm not as concerned as I was previous years.
Also, speaking of Ferrari, I forgot. I feel like you maybe pointed this out, but I told you I just finished rewatching The Newsroom, which is on Max if anyone's ever interested in watching it. But at the last 2 episodes, they made several Formula One references.
Really?
Yeah. Charlie's talking to Mac and talking about how everyone who loved Michael Schumacher knew it was like he won so much because he had the best car and like all these things. I don't know. It was just very
interesting.
And the first time we watched it, we had no idea what they were talking about.
No.
Anyway,
funny.
That's all.
All right. Well, hope everyone has a great week and gets prepared for this triple header. And we will see you guys next week for Imola GP.
Enchanté.